It's called.
Let's do it
Hey,
live.
hi everyone. Welcome to Maude's Book Club. I don't like where the placement of the browser source is, so we're gonna just swap it over that away. We've been tweaking things around. Hello everyone. Welcome to Maude's Book Club. As always, we do 2 different books every single month. A main book, which we'll split into 2 parts, and a bonus book. We already did the bonus book for this month.
Hello there.
Hello. And so now we're wrapping up our main book for September, which is The Will of the Many. I don't like where that alert is coming, so I want to change that, maybe perhaps there. This book is very confusing. I regret listening to it. There's so much to unpack, so we'll get straight into it. Space Cowboy, happy birthday. If you're there and you can get into the members call video call, we'll sing you happy birthday if you would like. Lisa says, hey guys, I didn't read it. I'm just here for the vibes. Oh, I'm about to spoil absolutely everything that happens in this book. It is going to be a severe breakdown because goodness me, a lot happens and it's quite confusing and it definitely took a turn. A little bit of housekeeping though with Maude's Book Club. This is one last week where you can pick up 3 different designs that you'll never see again. And to sweeten the deal, we have 30% off the entire store, maudesbookclub.com/store. This is one of them. All my favorite things. Dogs, books, and wine. There's designs going. So is Let's Read More Books, the Halloween themed, which is perfect for October. And there's one other one. I think it's just me with some pretty stars around it. Oh, and Zelda, and Vaden's got it. Vaden, you have the shirt and you're showing me. Oh my gosh, that is Colleen. Colleen's got the Let's Read More Books shirt on. Vaden's got it. You've got it in a like a teal color, and Vaden's got it in a brown. Actually, it looks quite good in that taupe sort of brown. And everyone else is Maude. What? Oh, you're in here? So we have to sing Stephen a happy birthday because it's Stephen's birthday today. Now, Stephen, have you seen an iteration of our train wreck of a happy birthday song?
Yes, and I'm very excited.
Oh, really? Okay, buckle in because it's happening for you. Ready, Stephen? It is your birthday train wreck singing in 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Stephen. Happy birthday to you. Are your ears bleeding?
Yes, but I loved every second of it.
Have you had a good day?
Yeah, I'm just getting home from work.
Oh, how's it like? How's the job going?
It's going pretty good. Just lots of onboarding, but it's like probably the most official big boy job I've ever had. So
hey! And of course,
I just thought I'd join for a couple of seconds, say book good.
Oh yes, now you completely snowballed this book. You started it and you just did not stop at all.
No, I did not.
Would you give it out of 5?
A 5 out of 5.
Woo!
Easy.
Perfect book. Oh, easy. Yeah. All right. Oh, I love that. Look, I've been suggesting books for Stephen over the years. The first success to get you out of a many-year reading slump was Song of Achilles. And you were like, I had no idea a book could be so good. What's next?
Yep.
And I was like, okay, hold on to your butts. What did I recommend Cerulean Sea after that?
Yeah, House in the Cerulean Sea, and then Tomorrow.
Oh, yep, good stuff.
Literally all life-changing books, honestly.
And then you've recently read Project Hail Mary.
Yes, 6 out of 5.
Yes? Yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, K. Frito. Why isn't it coming up, though? It should be popping up. And then this book. So we're actually on a bit of a run with it all. Fantastic.
But yes.
What's next?
Pop in and say hi. Well, I'm about like 3/4 of the way through Red Rising right now, so I'm trying to finish that up. I will say though, I have so far, as quickly as I finished The Will of the Many, I am enjoying that a lot more. But everyone has already told me that Red Rising gets better, like the second book at least. So
hold on, you've enjoyed the first book of The Will of the Many more than Red Rising?
Yeah, so far.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Okay,
yeah,
everyone's got so many reactions in the
I
Members Plus
know,
call.
Right. You're correct, Steven.
Oh,
it's just really
That
hard for me
makes
to connect
no
with
sense at
Darrow.
all.
Oh,
I
okay.
just can't connect with Darrow. That's my
Okay.
only thing right now.
All
Well,
right.
then connect with Severo.
We
Easy peasy.
trust me when I say Steven's not connecting with Severo. Steven's classy, okay?
So he'll connect with Cassius. Easy peasy.
I don't know. Steven gives me Roke a little bit.
Well, that's
But I'm enjoying it enough, and I am excited to continue the series. But as far as just like first impressions, and I think I like and seeing everyone's comparisons between the two, it's also been really interesting. So I really like that I read The Will of the Many first.
Yeah,
actually.
okay.
Just because there's a lot of hype around Red Rising. But I'm still enjoying them both. But 5 out of 5, Will of the Many for me.
Ah, I love it. All right. Well, plenty of conversations between which one was a better first book to read. But this episode, very excitingly, is sponsored. We have a sponsor for Maude's Book Club, which is so delightful. So this stream is sponsored by this book that you can see in the corner called A Booksy Moment. Short stories and flash fiction. A Booksy Moment is more than just a collection of short stories. It's an invitation to a literary adventure. Now, as the author says in the preface, these stories are derived from a singular thought, a feeling, or even a dream. Experience your own Booksy Moment by diving in with your eyes and keeping your imagination open to explore the stories beyond the page. You can find a Booksy Moment at Barnes & Noble. You can just click the link. Now, Spawn should be working. I just put it in. Maybe if I do it. I wonder what's going on with that one. Well, I can quickly get all those details and I can pop them in there for you too. So that you've got a link to click, and I'll pop it in the Discord also. I'm not sure why it's not working. There, it's right here. Bing. That was so loud. Slightly obnoxious at how loud that one was for me. But there you go. I don't know why that one's not working. I can see it in here. Can anyone else put Spawn? Exclamation mark Spawn? Everyone should be able to do it. What if I put sponsored? Update. Try now. No, sponsored. No one can. I'm literally looking at it in. This is fun. Well, there's an automated one, so I'll just make it every 8 minutes and see what happens with that. All right, cool. Lovely little technical difficulties. I can't even say it. That's how technical they are at the moment. But let's get into what happens in the second half of The Will of the Many. So, Viz, aka Diago, deserves to be in grade 5, but his teacher is basically racist. So to open up a slot for Viz to progress, the Anguis kill a student above him, and then to progress into another open slot, Viz beats up another student in ritual combat, and then he graduates grade 5. And then, of course, and we were talking about this last week, which was the goal and prerogative of Viz as a character, where he's just hey, Darren, thank you for 39 months. Appreciate it. He's just trying to get into class 3, graduate so that he can pick where he wants to go. And he just wants to live out his best life, not ceding any will or any power at all in the outskirts, which is that enough of a goal for our protagonist? Interesting hearing that Steve relates with Viz a little bit more than Darrow. I felt Darrow was more relatable because he was a clearer protagonist with a very clear agenda, which is helpful. And I think that there's a lot of sort of Viz and Darrow comparisons. There's going to be a lot of Red Rising and Will of the Many comparisons. But because we have finished this book, I want to go around to not only the chat, but all of our members. Is book good? What did you give this one out of 5? People are shaking their head. You gave it a 1, Terry? You gave this a 1 out of 5. Talk to me.
because I couldn't get myself to finish it.
It's a DNF for you. Lisa
Yes.
said, work's been so tough lately. The last thing that I want to do is have to think, which I get it. The only books I've been able to read the past few weeks have been rereading a romance series just because it takes no brain power. This one does take brain power, and we're going to go through a lot of it. Wow, Stephen gave it a 5 out of 5. Catch gave it a 1.5. Colleen gave it a 3.5. J. Bunt Rock gave it a 2. Jimmy gave it a 3. Blue Shell gave it a 3.5. Jeff, you started at 2.75 and then went down to 2.5. Darren, 3.5. Vaden, 4. Academic says Darrow's goal is external, whereas Viz's goal is internal. And you gave it a 5 out of 5. Okay, let's start with 5s. Academic, talk me through this 5 out of 5 for you. What did you love about it?
I loved Vis's journey. I identify with what Stephen is saying. This is very much a coming of age book. This is very much a person who doesn't know. He has an idea of what his identity is and what that means for himself, and that shifts over time throughout the book. And I really liked him discovering exactly who he was going to be and who he was going to serve, and what that meant he would sacrifice in the end. We saw his shifting priorities throughout the book, and I really enjoyed that journey.
Okay, we had a little feedback that your volume's a bit low on stream as well. Maybe I can bump up the volume on that one. I do actually think maybe in settings I made Discord a little quiet. I did. There it is. I made Discord a little quieter. So I'm fixing that my end. You were saying that you think that Red Rising is, what would you have preferred reading first? Red Rising or The Will of the Many?
I think Red Rising. If you're not familiar with this type of series, then I would say Red Rising is easier to get into, and then Will of the Many, it feels derivative after that. But if you're expecting to get the same sort of buzz you got from Red Rising, it's a different story. Like, the goals are different of the protagonists.
They are. Oh, okay. Everyone's saying that your volume is low on Discord as well.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Is that better?
Well,
like, I have to eat my microphone. All right.
That's almost split the difference. Nom nom. Split the diff on that one. Not bad though. My goodness.
Just turn your microphone up, dude.
Yeah. Well, yeah. My input volume is at 100%. So
Oy.
there's that.
It does work if you do make it a little closer. Vanessa says 4 out of 5. There was so much action. I felt like I was reading a script for TV. Vanessa, you're in the members chat here as well. What do you think it is about James's writing where it kind of paints the picture so you can visualize what's going on in the book?
Yeah, he focuses so much on sort of new action scenes and dialogue that it reads perfectly, like it's going to be adapted like perfectly, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, it does. It does. I really like the pacing of the book. I find that you have moments of like character development, understanding what's going on, and then like something huge action will happen. And then you get a little bit of time to breathe, and then a big action spike will happen again. And then by the end, it's just like bam, 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 bam. Jeff, you're turning off your mic. Usually that's to not spoil something. But what is it in this instance since you gave it a 2.5?
It's really just to not have to talk too much about this one. I don't want to. I don't know. I can't even explain exactly why I didn't. I really, really didn't like this book. 2.5 is like being, for me, excessively generous.
Okay. What was it about this book that you didn't like?
I tried to explain it in a comment in the Discord. I'm trying to. All right, it's somewhat ineffable, I guess. So that's why this is going to be hard to explain. When I read a book, like I get into the language and I get into the writing and the prose and sort of the feeling of it and the pacing and all that stuff. And I love that part of reading. Like that's part of why I love reading so much. And you start to like get a feel for how a writer is writing and how it feels and how I'm jiving with it. And this book felt like 4 or 5 people were writing it. I never was able to latch on to a style or a feel or a vibe or a pace or anything, and so it just didn't. It really didn't resonate with me. Like, I
Didn't
thought the
stick.
story was fine, and the plot is interesting. I'm hoping that the second book is better. I don't know. I mean, I think for me, so much of it was, to use a word academic already used, derivative. Like, so much of it was yanked from other things that it was just like, and like weirdly yanked. Like, and to me, that was like, okay, so he's borrowing so heavily from this that's why this doesn't feel right when he's writing it. And then he's borrowing from something else, and it feels like that now, and it doesn't feel like it's kept going as a through line.
Okay, interesting. It lost a lot of its oh, good. That was a weird one
It
for
felt like
my
I was
camera.
felt like I was reading, like I kept switching books while I was reading it. Like, I was reading one book, and then all of a sudden I was reading like a different book, and then I was reading like a different book, and then it was like, it was just weird.
Okay, I like that astute observation if that's what you had for it. I know that in part one you were talking about distinctly what was borrowed from different excerpts of other stories, and so it feels like it's almost a bit of a Dr. Frankenstein kind of stitching together all the parts to make a book. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I put blue in the screen right there. Vaden, you gave it a 4 out of 5?
Yeah, I like in the beginning I wasn't that into it. I was at 3, but then once the latter half of the book came in, I started enjoying it a lot more. I felt like his journey to his homeland really improved the book a ton. Like, he got so emotional, and so did we as a reader. Excited, and like, as seeing him deal with the consequences of what the people thought of his people, how they took over and they basically try to, in quotes, civilize it. They were extremely, arrogant about the place and the people. But in seeing how he reacted to that, how he dealt with it, how he talked to the people, how he used his information to, like the tunnels and stuff like that, to get what he needed to do. Like listening on the conversation. I also really like the plot when once he got to the end, like when we found out about why they're on Seuss and what they were planning to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing with them essentially.
The twist.
The twist of them essentially being the murder of them, these kids being condoned essentially to gain power for military. So it was really interesting to me. The only big downside, or I thought was the significant downside to me, is I felt like this is way too much of a, like, I guess, Mary Sue kind of character where he just does everything extremely well. Like, he beats everyone at everything. Like, it's not it's like he beats the guy, the top champion, the duelist champion. He beats like the top foundation player in Belly.
Well, he grew up playing it, and even though he's a bit rusty and he hadn't played it for a while, he still had played enough of it, conveniently.
Yeah.
I still liked that moment, though.
It was a good moment. It was really good to see him like get back at people at times, but also like even when we got back at people at times, he usually ended up like not making pure enemies of them. Like, he has issues with people, but it's not like I hate you. It's more like I need to work around you to accomplish my goal, and there's not usually personal. Like, for them, they may hate him personally because of whatever reason. Like in the case of the structure, the racism and all that, but like in most cases, it's just like professional. It's more like professional hate because it's a competition.
Well, with Belly, that was a bit of an asshole move. Like, he wanted to teach her a lesson, right? Like, he didn't have to do that. There was room for compassion, but he was like, that'll show you. You had so much ego around this. You were going to take a piece off your board, and I ended up taking one off mine, which was very Darrow-coded, I think, personally. Yes, academic. And then, Colleen, is that an arm up? Yeah? All right, academic, and then Colleen.
To that point, I think it was also required so that he could actually progress to class 3, right? Otherwise, there was no guarantee that he was getting into class 3, which he was already fighting against time. So he just secured a spot that way.
Yeah, but it's a bit of an insight into his character. Yes, Colleen.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, what she had done to, what was his name, Claudius, was the same.
Calidus.
He had trusted her, and he trusted her and then betrayed him and used it to manipulate him. So I didn't feel particularly bad for her. It seemed like, okay, this is the way they play this.
Yeah, yeah. It also is reminiscent of, you know, when Darrow's been living his entire life as a red and then seeing how the golds function and the brutality that they're okay with, political gain, blackmail, violence, you name it, whatever's at their disposal, they will use it to further their own agenda. Colin, you gave it a 3.5. Why did you not like this one as much? Because you're usually quite generous.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I would have liked it more at a different time.
Okay.
I think it took me a while to get into it, and I did like it a lot more by the end. And I'm curious enough about the ending that I wouldn't mind reading the next book. But yeah, so much of it just seemed like it was too reminiscent of the world of Red Rising to me. I mean, even as every time they said something like "Hail this," I was kind of waiting for Reaper or something like that.
Yeah, Hail Libertas, absolutely.
And even somebody mentioned in one of the discussions, I think on Fable, that even the armor they used seemed a lot like shard plate.
Oh, interesting. When they did that tournament where if you hit and struck the part of the armor, then that part of it would go dead, which I thought was kind of cool as well. I liked it. Blue Shell gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Bilato gave it a 3 out of 5. P-Dog gave it a 5 out of 5. Now, P-Dog, I think you joined Maude's Book Club just to talk about this book, so I'd really love to get your thoughts on what a 5 out of 5 meant for you and why you loved this one so much. Paul Wesenberg. Paul, you have just joined the Members Plus on Patreon. I don't know if you're watching this live, real time, but by joining up on Patreon, you should automatically get in the Discord the Members Plus access. And so if you are in the Discord, you should be able to join the Members Plus call. So if you do see it, you'll see a lot of names all lined up under that call. Double click it and it will bring you into the Members Plus chat. And so if you're there, come on by. Welcome. Welcome. Members Plus is pretty cool. So pop on in if that instruction helps at all. J Buntrock, you gave it a 2 out of 5. You are also usually quite generous when it comes to ratings. Why did this book not work for you?
I went into this blind, so I think I got when it started off with the secret gladiator prison guards mystery sapper, I was like, ooh, this is interesting, and then it quickly devolves into another fantasy academy super kid. I was like, oh well, there we go again. And then I never once believed this kid is 17 years old, and all the characters are kind of interchangeable and remarkable, and I really don't like the character name of Alkiskor.
Oh my gosh, Alkiskor.
Continuing to read and hear that, I was like, get a different name.
Alkiskor. I know.
Alkiskor, yeah.
We definitely mentioned last time that the complex nature of the names is a deterrent and hurts the flow of a book. Because if the whole time you're trying to get your head around a name, it can be a little hard to actually then provide depth to that character, because once the name is set into place and you get the descriptors, you can build it out. But if every single time you're tripping over that, it's just an unnecessary hurdle in reading. So I hear you on that one. Oh, yes?
Well, then I wanted to point out it gave it the Tri-Wizard Cup ending, the Cedric Diggory ending. So
I didn't even think of it like that. Oh my God. Do you agree with that, Academic?
No.
Oh, yes and no? Okay.
Yes, but we can talk about that once we talk about the epilogue.
Okay. Which we're probably going to get into first, because that is the biggest, like, what the heck moment that we've had here. Have we gotten through everyone's scores yet? Did anyone not share their thoughts? Stephen, happy birthday.
Not mine, but that's okay.
We'll get there. 5 out of 5. Viz was such an interesting protagonist for me because I couldn't always tell if I trusted him, but that made him feel more real and complex. The world building was dense at times, but I liked how it paid off by creating a society that felt layered and morally grey. Toaster Poster gave it a 3.5 out of 5, but stopped paying attention around chapter 68. KP Dubs has stopped it around the 110 page mark. Phantom Aria gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Is that everyone's score? Ali gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I found the character really unrelatable, and I think the book had good bones, but sometimes it felt like there were just too many spinning plates. I actually first felt that when we were establishing the hierarchy and then inserted the Anguis. And I felt like the introduction of the Anguis was almost too soon, because I was like, right, you're setting me up in the world building and then inserting an antagonist whilst unveiling that our protagonist is a royal who has like a secret identity and now is like a part of some sort of war crime, you name it, who knows, all this. Yeah, it was an onslaught of exposition, and I kind of just needed a little bit of breathing room in that first half of it. And there's other parts where, because I'm listening to the book, sometimes the book just happened to me, not with me, if that makes sense. Okay, people listening are nodding their head. Darren, you've got 3 up. You've got 3 points, or you gave it a 3 out of 5?
3 out of 5.
Okay, well, what are your 3 points as well?
I thought one of the things was there were parts in the latter half of the book that were just very confusing.
Yeah, okay.
And it kind of took me out of it. Like, so there's the Udicam going on, and somehow he has to duck out of that.
That doesn't need a name. Just call it the finals.
Yeah. So
you know what I mean? Like,
he ducks out of that to then run the labyrinth. I still don't understand the connection between the Udicam and the labyrinth.
I don't either.
That's part of it.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Yep. And does Belly know that exists? Was she trying to do her own? Okay, academics say yes, she was trying to get her own version of that and information in there. What was her invested interest in that?
Yeah, we don't know, because that might be a book to reveal. She might be on the other side for all we know. I think one of the problems is, as you were mentioning from your point, he front-loaded too many plot elements that would have better served if you organically bring those up in the subsequent books, like the Angus. Maybe it would have been better if they just kind of hinted at it instead of just bringing them into the first third of the book and then having them at the end. If you kind of just like pepper them in a little bit, they could have been a better surprise as an antagonist at the end of the book. Who knows?
Because
one thing I would say is it has a mystery that I'm hooked and I'm curious for the second book.
Okay, there you go. Who doesn't want to continue with the series? Tim's hand whips up. Terry, you DNF'd the book, so that's a no from you. I'm interested in doing it. I don't want to listen to the book again. Too much is happening in sometimes somewhat of a contrite manner. So like when those moments of breathing, I really retain that. But when it's like bam, 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 I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And so I want to go over some of the last part of the book to get on the same page with everyone. What the truck happened? Academic says it's implied that Viridia sent Belly into the labyrinth since she was the best labyrinth runner from class 3. What is his goal with the labyrinth then? What does he know? So another issue that I have, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I do have issues, and one of them is there's so many questions, and now that I know the ending, I'm going to go back through some of the other things that happened with this information in mind. There are too many unanswered questions that I think are bogging the plot down instead of pushing it along. I wasn't experiencing as many like aha moments. It was more like what now moments. And I want ahas, if that makes sense. I want the information that is like, wow, which explains A, B, and C, instead of, wow, you've presented another issue or another problem or another unanswered, unexplainable event. And it's a series of those for me. Ali said, yeah, like Maude, I felt like I needed to read the book, read the written book, especially the ending. The story stopped. He says Toaster Poster. Expand on that one for me. Jeff, you read it twice. Great. Then I'm going to defer to you for a lot of answers. Good. You've just outed yourself as the expert here. P-Dog says, yeah, I know you turned your camera off to avoid this. And then you said, I read it twice. So well done there. I went into this book, says P-Dog, blind based on a friend's recommendation. She literally said, I think you would love it. But none of our other friends would. I think what I liked most about the world was the political intrigue, a very real examination of power structures. You have literal pyramid schemes, and it felt like a critical examination of capitalism and the American dream. And then you said that was 1 out of X. So it sounds like you've got more. Here we go, more to say. The way they tell every Octavius that they can rise up the pyramids if they only work hard enough is a lot like how they told American kids in school that they can be president. Oh, we are unpacking things here. I like this. The anguish caused more anguish for the reader. Nice. Tim?
I was just going to say that whole thing about, telling everybody that if they work hard, they can move up in the hierarchy. That's an allegory for fucking capitalism.
If you work hard enough
and save your money, you'll become rich. No, you won't. You will never be rich. Give up.
My favorite part is Jeff has face palmed so hard and his camera has zoomed in so wonderfully on his drastic face palm. It was a Curb Your Enthusiasm moment. I heard the music. I heard the music while that was happening. Blue Shell says, I wish there were some more reveals as well, but I'm excited for the next book. I'm hoping that Islington/Islington, we've got to get to the bottom of that, does a good job answering all the questions that the first book posed. I have these questions. So I went into the subreddit for 2 hours. I had to take a nap. I went in so deep and I was like, oh my God, this hurts. I need to sleep for a second and I'll come back to it. J. Brunt Rock says, Will the Many also features the most generic maps I've ever seen in one of these books. Oh, I read it. I mean, listened to it. I wasn't privy to all of those. People are disagreeing about the political system. I don't think the political system, says academic, is supposed to be subtle in any way, and that's why I find it the interesting bits to be Viz's exploration of the self. P-Dog says the system necessitates that 90% of the population gives up half their energy. How the hell are you supposed to get ahead while you have that kind of handicap? Yeah, it's designed to fail. It's designed to keep the oppressed down. And I that was a really interesting piece of information, which was Calidus talking to Viz about the numbers. And he's like, yeah, my dad is a bigwig in, what's the S word that he goes into? The Senate. My dad census, not the Senate. Yeah. Census. Yeah. Why did I write Senate? The census. The
Senate is it has all 3 branches of government in it, and everyone who's in leadership is in the Senate. He is in governance in the census sector of governance.
Great. Because that was a little bit of a nugget drop of information. Which is, if people were to know the actual numbers, this would cause a huge disruption. So maybe don't share this information. So it planted the seed of there is more here to be learned, to figure it out. And then, of course, didn't he take the pieces of information for Belly to look at, and she hid them and she took them off him, but there's incriminating pieces of information from that particular census. What was that about, Darian?
The honey trap.
The honey trap. There was that.
He honey trapped himself, yeah.
that bit of information that was supposed to be crucial. I will say though, this book is a field full of planted seeds that rarely sprout. Well said, Jeff. I get that. I feel that a lot. Yeah. I'm just waiting. I'm like, you need to tell me what's happening soon, please. Okay, so let's talk about the other portions of this book and what happens. Ulkiskor demands that Viz investigates the ancient ruin to find his brother who was supposedly Komsuid, Kyra, and demands more results, which again, it's like he's literally giving his life for your objective. Calm down. Whatever you get is more than you had. Viz also meets with the Anguis and finds out about their treachery and the double dealing. There was apparently here a mention of a boat set up for later. Missed that. I only got that from the Reddit. It was apparently a mention of a boat here. So maybe that was a sign. What the hell is going on with this boat? Equa, meanwhile, while they're all out on this day trip little excursion together, sets two... Jesus Christ. You killed my father. Prepare to die. I'm gonna ask for that one to not be used until I can figure out the volume adjustment, because I felt like someone chopped me in the throat. I got so scared. That was so loud. That was a jump scare for sure. But hello. Thanks, P-Dog. Anyway, hires two thugs to beat up Viz because Equa is convinced. Oh, it wasn't that bad on the stream. Cool. Yeah, it blew an eardrum of mine. So it's fine. If I start bleeding out of the ear, just ignore it. We'll get along with the show. It's fine. Sponsored stream. She was convinced that Viz was ceding power, will, and turns out that's not the case at all. He kind of fights him off, and Equa's like, my bad completely, and actually apologizes about it. She was like, I bet a lot on you somewhat cheating, and you're not, and that is my bad completely. But it does kind of cost and compromise their friendship for the remainder of the book until the end. But with that, Equa's then relegated and Viz moves up to 4. This stuff with the dog. Let's talk about, okay, so while he's on his little excursion, he goes into what, another labyrinth, a different labyrinth, the same labyrinth. How many is it the same labyrinth? What is the fuck is this labyrinth? Apparently every time he goes somewhere, he's back at a labyrinth. It's the same one. Cool. Thanks, chat. Darian?
So I just have 2 things.
Yeah.
First of all, this is a very Trinidadian thing. The name of that wolf dog, I think in the book it's called alupai.
Alupai?
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in Trinidad, we have a food called alupai, which is basically a fried potato pie. So I cannot disassociate that from...
He's been attacked by a baked potato!
It's a delicious pie. Please taste it if you get a chance.
Yum.
So I cannot disassociate myself from that at all.
Well, it's a scary wolf type dog.
I'll post one in the chat later on.
I would love to see a picture of what this food looks like.
I'll post a video, yeah.
Yum.
The other thing is, it turns out it's a second labyrinth in the ruins, so not the one that the school's using. Mm-hmm. It's this other one in the ruins. And the reviews from that made me think, when was this book set? I was thinking, is this kind of futuristic? Is this like a simulation, computer program kind of thing? Because that was running through my mind.
So one of the questions that I was actually going to ask first, before I kind of went over sort of the plot points, this is a fantasy. Do you think this book did a good enough job making this a fantasy, because it doesn't adhere to the, Merlin-esque type rules or a medieval feel, which is what we usually get with fantasy? It does encompass sort of like an ancient Roman adjacent-esque type setting, but it does have elements of magic, mythical creature kind of things, a royal family, I also felt like when they were on Seuss, when he went to like his holiday island, I was like, oh, cool. This is like my family's holiday home. I could literally copy him. Not that I was in a royal palace, but like I had the little beach break that we used to go to, and I nearly died on that beach break. And I was like, oh yeah, cool. I can relate to this. The year is 1993 when Maude nearly died at the beach, which is wild because she was not born for another 10 years plus. But like there was never really a through line of what made this fantasy. There wasn't a tavern. There wasn't, you know, a utensil, or they were using will to kind of, what I felt like, make futuristic technology. Like the vehicle. I pictured that super sci-fi. That vehicle that moved. I was like, the Vectus or whatever it's called. I was like, the
Transvect is a blimp.
The Transvect in my head was the Star Trek Fleet Command. Did it pop up? It did. So where am I getting this idea?
Everything about it screamed blimp to me.
So is that steampunk then? See what I mean?
No,
I feel like there's
just blimp. It was, to me, it was the thing that Indiana Jones and his dad got on to flee Germany. That was it. It was a blimp. It was a dirigible.
But it wasn't.
It was a force-powered blimp. It was not special at all.
It's force-powered. Okay.
Yeah.
It was a force-powered blimp. There was nothing special about it at all.
There's no air. There's no air on it. So there's no
force-powered floating train.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel. It doesn't feel super fantasy.
It didn't feel fantastical.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
So I guess that's my question for everyone. As far as this genre goes, where did it feel most comfortable? With what genre?
I think it's sci-fantasy.
It's not sci-fi. There's
sci-fantasy.
Calling it no.
Sci-fantasy.
Yeah,
I like sci-fantasy. I agree.
Nope. Hard out on that.
Sci-fantasy.
Why?
There's not enough science.
The will component is like almost a chemical-based thing. No, will.
It's
algebra. No, it's the force. It's magic.
It's algebra based, right? Or
no, the amount of will that a person gets is algebra based, but that's not like. But the will itself is just the force.
Just it's applied magic because it's just how they split the will and all these things.
The will is closer to fantasy than science.
Yeah.
Hold on. P-Dog says that there is in the alternate book cover.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That looks pretty science fiction-y to me.
Mm-hmm. But that's a drawing. The description in the book to me basically just said blimp.
That feels like a soaring obelisk or a
That's what you think of Dune.
Yeah, sci-fi. Okay, so genre blending.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Nope.
You don't think so,
I disagree.
Jeff? What's the standout, consistent genre that this book is delivering?
At best, it's a post-apocalyptic fantasy. Like you could say, I mean, there's allusions, again, another seed that's planted that's not ever followed through on. There's allusions to a cataclysm of something that happened.
And going to happen again.
Were more advanced or different or something, whatever. But there's no payoff. I love my AI camera zooming in.
Isn't that? Yeah, it's building tension.
It is. And I'm not moving. Like it's just.
Yeah, it's like you're like, and then this is happening. I'm like, okay.
Anyway, so there seems to be some sort of future-ish technology, I guess, if you can call it technology. Again, I saw no technology in this book. Like it doesn't reference any technology at all. It reads like the will reads as Breath from Warbreaker, which is a distinctly fantasy book, not in any way, shape, or form sci-fi. I mean, I guess the Force, like if you want to say it's a Star Wars book, it's the Force, sure.
Which is space fantasy.
Right.
Yeah.
So post-apocalyptic fantasy-ish, I guess. I don't know.
To me, this read like it wanted to be high fantasy and like missed.
No, high fantasy, not at all. I supremely disagree with high fantasy.
Well, you're welcome to disagree. That's what it felt like to me. It wanted to be that, and it fell well short of that.
What is high fantasy?
High fantasy to me is a Brandon Sanderson, a Tolkien.
Yeah, but I think this wanted to be that. Like, the amount of time that Islington spent just telling us a bunch of stuff and then never telling us why it was important, that's Sanderson and Tolkien. Jeff and I talked about this before the show even started. We were talking about this exact thing. There was a lot of just yakking about whatever, and then it never paid off to anything. It never told us why any of this information was important.
I will argue that Brandon Sanderson does line it all up so that when the answer does come to you, it is an aha moment and furthers the plot. But sometimes it's not just 2 pieces coming together, it's 10 pieces coming together. You argued that also. Hey, we agreed. High five. Wait, where's that camera? Ali Sharp says, the book isn't futuristic. It's more like magic feudalism. I wish we could have learned where did this will tech come from, like the will tech that's there. Jay Barton Rock says 2 of the top 3 on Goodreads tags for the book are fantasy and dark academia. P-Dog says it's definitely post-apocalyptic. There's evidence there's been multiple cataclysms based on what the husks say. I attempted to gain synchronism in the 7th era after the rending or something like that. Vaden says, I mean, the tablets, the trackers, the labyrinth gauntlet, all read as sci-fi to me. Yeah, it really did to me. The obelisk's like moving in sort of like a mechanized construct. So BP Dog says there is something called the rending and multiple eras since then. What was the other book that we covered? I know it, but I'm wondering if anyone else is figuring it out as well. That had cataclysm events that wiped out history where they had to start again. What was the book we did?
I think we did it like 2 books ago. You know, a certain archive with some Stormlight.
One. Oh, yeah. I was actually looking for the 5th season.
Oh, I didn't do that.
The 5th season literally was like a huge, well, I guess, a cataclysm of natural disaster, and it basically like wiped everything out. And then they wiped out all the history, the information, and the technology. So they had to start again. Yes, Darian?
It also reminded me a little, it's very broadly, of the world building of in Lies of Locke Lamora, where there's all this elder glass that
High
they
fantasy.
use, but it's from the civilization that's no longer there. They don't know how it came about. They don't know much about it. It's just part of the city. So it's kind of like, borrowing a little bit of that type of setting. But yeah, it's the same thing. Like it pulled a little bit from Stormlight Archive of all the different cataclysms are reminiscent of all the different what did we call them in Stormlight again? All the
shards,
events,
shards, the
shattering. It's basically the same thing, yeah. So more borrowing from other novels.
Academic says, are the Aurora Columni tech? What's the Aurora Columni again? That was another word where it was like wah 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 wah, and I'm like, sure.
That's the thing that Viz didn't want to go to seed Will, and he got beaten for.
Got it.
Lisa,
that's
technology.
Lisa, I'm awarding you the winner for getting Broken Earth. I saw it in the comments. You did it first. Oh yeah, technically Dungeon Crawler Carl, they flattened the planet. But I don't feel like there's like a regrowth, there's a repart, you're not wiping it clean to build upon it again. Great question. There isn't an answer. It might be magic, it might be tech, it might be driven by flatulence. Thanks, Jeff. Is flatulence sci-fi? Depends on the note that you can get it. Anyway, Okay, let's get back into some of the things that happen because there is a lot happening here. All right, this dog. This is where we kind of got off track. Raises the little dog. It comes back at a later time. It's the same dog. It's saving him. What was the point of it, and why did it feel like a plot hole? What, Jeff?
God.
Oh my God, flatulence was actually the name of the wind. Nicely done. Nicely done. It's called a fart. Hello. It's literally how we name wind around here. Don't make me want to read that book again. We still have to do the second book. I'll do it. What do you think the point of was the dog? A bonding exercise? What that to me I felt like was the weakest part of the book, I'll be honest. And I love dogs. Don't get me wrong. I love my dog so much I gave her the worst haircut of her life. I hated Diago the dog. Okay, academic, let's talk about this. Did it just kind of feel a bit cheap? Did it feel like a plot push?
No, it didn't feel like a plot push. It felt like a shoehorned in like Call of the Wind or whatever Jack London's book is. It's some allegory for who this / Diago is and who he wants to be. And it was very shortly done. It was super trite. I don't feel like we really got much out of that dog existing. Like,
well, but that's why I said.
Oh,
that's why I said it was a plot point, because it conveniently came back and just took care of some of the enemies like it was a trained hound. And we haven't seen anything like that in any other part of the world building.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I don't think that was even necessary. We don't even really need Diago the dog as a Deus ex machina at the end of the book. Like James could have written anything else to like get Diago in out of that situation, right? So
that is probably the most obvious part of the Dr. Frankenstein stitches, where it stitched that into the plot, and you're like, huh? This doesn't feel like the book I've just been reading. What is this about? Why does this exist? So there you go. As soon as he saved it, I knew it was going to happen, says Colleen. So it also felt predictable too. Good. Yes, Darian?
But I just need to add to that, not even the Stark dire wolves got tamed so quickly as what happened with this Alupai.
It took me out of the story thinking about, if I were to go for 10 years after I'd rescued Zelda initially, would she remember me all that time later? And would she do my bidding? And while I'm thinking of that, a chapter's gone by and I'm like, oh no, I've missed some pretty crucial things, I'm guessing. Don't make me go out of my way thinking about dumb shit. Diago is 1,000% a C.S. Lewis ripoff as well. Diago. Oh, there you go. I like that. Diago is what we were going to be calling it now. And that was all thanks to P-Dog. Look, if P-Dog doesn't get a good dog pun in, it really only had to be you that could do that. So well done. Blue Shell says, yeah, look, it was too predictable. There are a few moments like that. There are a few unearned, convenient moments when it comes to Viz. Yes. I liked the Sus moment, which is when he went back to his sort of hometown, where, and I feel like we kind of got this in Red Rising somewhat, where he sees his mum again once he's a gold, and he is kind of reduced back to the boy that he was, and his mum recognizing him still. Oh my God, that was a beautiful moment. In this instance, I feel like he had gotten so caught up in escaping his life and moving past it, that this place and visiting it, and knowing that's where his family was and his sisters were, and having these flashbacks of his life there, was almost like it put him in a bit of a chokehold, where it was like he was so busy trying to run that this forced him to kind of remind him who he was, what his past is about. And I wish it spurred him on a little bit more with his goal, with what he wanted to do. And then he also sneaks using the tunnels. Loved that part. What is something that he has access to and only he knows, because this is his old stomping ground, that he was able to overhear the meeting where military is like, P.S., well done on the Anguis attack that we were a part of. Now, that should have been an aha, what the fuck moment, but instead it was like, that math ain't mathin'. How is this what's going on? Because the only information I have about the military is that that's the path that everyone wants to go on when they finish this academy. But religion was the iffy factor academics like, no, I didn't experience that. That was the not clear part to me. Yeah.
Military was what Alkiskar is a part of. So it's not necessarily that everybody wants to go to military. It's just people from military factions typically end up in military. And so he has a conversation with Colidus earlier talking about what is the utility of military when all of the world is conquered, right? And so this is military's way of grabbing power back by creating a villain through the
So
Anguis.
are the military the Anguis, or are they fueling the Anguis? Who is our antagonist at this point? Because that to me was just like, who do I hate now? What's going on? So the military knows the Anguis?
It's a false flag, and they're using the Anguis as actors to propagate their, I guess, coup, because they're trying to unbalance the triumvirate of governance, religion, and military.
It's like what we do typically in a lot of Middle Eastern countries, where we fund groups that aren't necessarily directly aligned with the U.S. interests, but we're like, hey, right now, if you do this, we can have more exercise more control over a particular given region, even though it might end up biting us in the ass later on. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cheyenne also reflecting back on the hometown section. The hometown was the best part. I would rather read about the Prince of Seuss and his hometown. That is fantasy to me. I actually really did like that reprieve. I liked those moments. I liked the character building. I liked when we had nuance with, is it Anissa or Amissa?
Anissa.
Never met her. Cool. Anissa. Those particular moments, him recognizing, was it Frederica? Frederica was his name. Like, I think that was really, really interesting to me. And him seeing that there's still support, that there's still a bit of a rebellion happening there as well, that there was hope and something to fight for. I liked that. Yes.
We also got a moment where he finally had a chance to just drop the facade, because the entire book is him acting all the time. So he finally got one night, if so much, to just drop all of that. So that was a good, moment for him, where he could just,
He felt it all. He felt the weight of it. Yeah. He was so used to hiding and running, and, that he was able to kind of be seen for who he actually is, and to let it out, to cry. Blue Shell says, when Viz was going to the Nomachia, I'm so sick of these names, Viridius spent a lot of time explaining the transfect schedule about getting back to the academy. We won't know which one you're on, etc. I think it was to say that they're protecting him from the Anguis, but it seemed to open a path for Viz to get to the ruins, and it got me maybe thinking that Viridius wanted Viz to run the labyrinth. Okay, Viz, is he our enemy? Is he a good guy? It seemed initially like he was somewhat a puppet pulling some strings, and he wasn't necessarily a good guy. But now it seems like he is understanding about this upcoming cataclysm and actually wants to recruit Viz and could be a good guy. I like that switch. I like that kind of flip-flop. That was fun storytelling somewhat, but I still don't have enough to care. It's just like, is it? Just tell me what's happening at this point. There's so much guesswork, or there's so many blossomed sprouts, as we've been calling it.
It's just, the perspective of each character. Viridius is seeing a bigger game than just the politics of the hierarchy. Alcisco is only seeing the politics of the hierarchy. He's just seeing, my brother's dead, something happened. He doesn't know anything about Ludikium and whatever the other places. Viridius,
I get a little lost.
A bigger game.
Okay. Ali says, Viridius is Snape, right? No, that was Nicaeus. Nicaeus. There was another teacher that felt like Snape for a second. Viridius was more taking a step back and watching things play out. Was somewhat of like I don't want to say Dumbledore, because he wasn't that kind. He wasn't like a, the guide figure. Yeah, it's a gray zone for sure. All right, so let's talk about Seuss because it was a lot of fun. Obviously, Viz is undercover as a student of the academy, but Diago returns to his homeland. He's very sad to see it run down after its conquest. He saved a miss's life from a riptide and they start dating. Oh my God, I love that moment. Again, he gets to doesn't have to keep punishing himself all the time. He gets to live life and there's more joy to it. Now, did I see and Misa betraying him? A mile away. Oh my God. Oh, really? Oh, I thought that was sure obvious. She's too sweet. And as soon as she said she had a dimple even when she didn't smile, she gonna fuck you up, son. I want everyone to pay attention to that.
Misa every single time. I'm gonna get got by her every single time. Oh.
And I do it again. Actually, let's look at this fan art. That's not it. Let's look at this fan art. Bing! Here are some drawings of the team here. Viz, now remember, Viz copped a little bit of heat for it being racist. P-Dog, we don't have links. We can't put links in here, but you can put it in the Discord if you want to head on by there. Calidus is in here. Oh my God. Iden, that's how you spell it. Iden, that looks like a very, what is it, Scottish, Irish spelling? Iden, and he's redhead.
Definitely a Celt. He's so Welsh.
Yeah, yep. Oh my God. Equa, that starts with an A, which is definitely designed to mess with everyone. And Misa, Indol, and Belly. Now, who was the most three-dimensional of all of these characters, would you say? Because some people struggled with these supporting characters having enough substance, but who were the standouts, would you say?
Definitely Calidus. And even Aiden.
I pictured Calidus. Oh my gosh. Who ever watched Seasons of Skins? Who was the guy? Sid. That's so funny. His name was Sid. If you ever watched the UK sort of drama teen show called Skins, there's a character called Sid who was kind of pushed around a little bit. He always wore a beanie and glasses. That is exactly who Calidus was to me. He kind of was a bit of a slacker, but flying under the radar. I like Calidus. Cassius and Caledon is Calidus. Oh my God, the name. Yeah, mate. I struggled with that so much last time. Equa was cool, says Ali. Calidus was easy to love. I think Iden had some growth and had multiple facets. Why did Iden turn down the final challenge? Why was he like, we can't do this? I'm not able to partake. I didn't know. I know you're not even up to there, but that was a very good pun. I don't know. Yeah, I don't either. What was that about? Neither does anyone else. No, that's a TBD for sure. Equa was nicely... What?
There's more threads for book 2.
Yeah, so many threads.
Good job. Anissa, there's a reason, they're alluding to a reason she betrayed him. It wasn't just...
we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. P-Dog says, we can only speculate about Iden, but I think Viridius offered him something so good that he would be tempted to betray Viz. Oh, okay. I like that. Equa was nicely fleshed out as a character too, says Cheyenne. I thought it was really interesting, that her dad was some bigwig and was in the steam room with him at 4 a.m. to talk about it. And then that was never really brought up again. So Equa became her own character in her own right. I liked her too. I liked her as someone who really, really wanted to win, but I really saw her character in the last, I'm just going to call it the final challenge. You cannot get me to say that word. But in the final challenge where she stood by him, when she had ample times to betray him, to leave him behind, I really liked that moment. We're around the halfway mark for the show. So I have a little read. We'll pause for a second just to remind you that this is a stream that is sponsored by a Booksy Moment, short stories and flash fiction. Each story in this collection offers a completely different world to explore. Now, in one, you'll meet a young man with a life-altering secret. In another, you'll find a magical typewriter that survived the war, just typing out a single powerful line, I survived. If you love to get lost in new worlds with every turn of the page, then you're going to love this book. You can find your copy today at Barnes & Noble, or you can click the link in the chat to head straight to the page. Now, we actually on the Discord have a fun little writing channel in there where we started doing that. We did a few attempts just to see as a writing prompt challenge, but I would set a prompt for people to kind of write a paragraph or a mini story, I guess you could say, to flesh out some like fun fantasy and sci-fi ideas. So that's quite on brand. Little short stories that are prompted by a dream or a moment or a thought or a phrase. Yeah. It would help if I spelled sponsored right. Well done, Lisa. You've had a tough day, week, work, kicking your butt. I think Aiden's family had already been threatened and the offer was to provide an out for them. So what do we know about Aiden? Aiden, essentially, I mean, it's almost like he bonded over Viz by being an outsider. His was more almost like perceived as his peers as being a little bit more savage because he wasn't speaking the common tongue, so to speak. He had very sort of broken vocabulary, and that to everyone else kind of put him on the outskirts. And we found out that there was it Viridius who did that? It was a teacher that basically got in his ear saying that guy's trouble and was pitting these two outsiders against each other. I really liked the fact that even though Viz punched him in the nose, it was setting him out to be a bully and a character that we didn't like, but they actually found common ground and developed not only a friendship, but loyalty. I really liked that moment. I thought that was a lot of fun. Viridius did pit Aiden against Calidus. And so Viz came in to protect Kaladin. Vin is from Mistborn. My eye's twitching. Was it trauma bonding? Pretty much. Everyone's kind of conversing with each other in the comments. I'm trying to read them out, but both violate what has been established as his character. What do you mean by that, Jeff? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Oh, we're discussing what was offered and why he turned it down and why he decided not to help Viz. And in my opinion, his character was set up as being someone of honor, like of full on honor. Like he was carrying through with his oaths, with his goals, with everything else. And he had decided that he was loyal to Viz.
Mm-hmm.
And so
in
that moment, the fact that he would be offered something and then say no to it and then decide not to help Viz doesn't square with that. Like he's not being loyal to Viz then. He's being loyal to his people who were not loyal to him, in that he ended up in a sapper for
yeah, but he killed like 3 Praetorians, and so he got sentenced, but it was a lighter sentence. But yeah, he was in the sappers. Again, that was a really great, there was room there to talk about and reintroduce what the sappers are. And we had that moment really quickly where he comes out of sort of being in a sapper and he's like, it's not what you think, it is so much worse. And you're like, okay, so here's someone who's been in the sapper for a year and now he's like studying and he's got his head down, trying to get through all of this, knowing what the experience and knowing things can be so much worse. Can we explore that with his character? That would be good. No?
That would be good. And I think it also matters whether it was a threat or whether it was a stick or a carrot that was presented to Aiden. If it was a stick, then this completely goes away against his character. And even
it has to be a carrot.
To me, it still does.
Oh, okay.
I don't buy it. It doesn't fit with what was established for him.
I wonder if there was a way where it's like, you have to betray Viz and we'll get you into class 3 if that happens. And he's like, I ain't doing that.
But so then he would help and not betray. Like that one would be easy. It has to be something monumental. It has to be something like your people will be free. But Viridius doesn't have the power to offer that. Like there is nothing that Viridius can offer that should have made Aiden decide to not help Viz. It is not like he can just give him the world. Viridius has control of the academy or whatever you want to call it. And that's it. And so whatever else was offered, like it's impossible that it was something so huge with his family or whatever, because Viridius can't offer that. He doesn't have that to offer. So the fact that he just said no violates everything that we know about Aiden.
Also, there's it feels like if there's a puzzle in front of us, I need to have like 80% of the puzzle or more to be like, what could the missing piece be? What does this missing piece look like? I feel like I've got 10% of the puzzle pieces. So it's like, how am I supposed to fill in the blanks when you've barely given me anything to work on here? Like, I'm just waiting for you to give me more puzzle pieces so I can pretend to like establish what this looks like. And I think that would have been a better storytelling. We needed more pieces to the puzzle, more information, so that when there is a gap or when there is a what could this be, I can come up with 3 ideas because it's quite clear. Okay, academics like nodding along with me, which feels good.
I agree with what you're saying, but the thing I said before this is that I don't think it matters what the reason is at all. I think what matters more, especially with the revelations at the end, is that it did happen and that he did turn it down, and that in either Obitium or Lucium, we actually see that Aiden does accept and he does follow him. And so like we have these branching pathways, and that's actually what the fact that we see this here in this book, we're going to possibly see a different reality where Calidus is the one who didn't go, and it was Aiden instead.
Oh, okay. So this is the thing. The ending provides. Oh my God, and we're going to go back through it. So let's get to the ending really quickly. Colleen says, I liked when Aiden and Viz conversed in a language that teachers didn't understand. Yeah, it unified the others, you know what I mean? Like it connected them, which was the thing that separated them from other people. I did like that too. Ali says, I definitely think that Viridius forced Aiden to leave by threatening his family. At least that's what I thought at the time. So that Viz would ask for Equa, and that could go either way. A multiverse yawn. We'll see. Hello, Billy Sunrider. How are you? Was Vidius aware of the Anguis attack, and did he inform Aiden? Oh, did the stream go down? Oh, the stream went down for a second. Refresh. Welcome back. Sup? All right, let's get into the ending. The final exam is a battle royale against all the other 3 students. The winner gets a plum position in the government. Viz decides to ally with Calidus and Equa, even though Equa did betray him, but it was because Aiden turned him down. Viz's team is beaten by his nemesis temporarily. Equa does a double backstab and saves their team. The heroes team up and steal a magic tablet from the instructors, well, the guides, the safety teams, whatever that was, to use to beat to the other students. They then split up. Under Elkiskor's orders, he enters the real labyrinth again. He runs the trial and passes it. Now, while running the maze, he discovers Belly's body in there. She ran and failed the trial. At the end of the trial, he discovers an empty room. He frees lots of robot zombies, though. Then there's the combat that ensues, and what do you know? His pet dog saves the day. Viz reunites with Equus and Calidus, and they discover a pile of dead bodies. All of these instructors or safety guide people, as well as some of the students, have been killed by the Anguis. They try to save as many students as possible, except Viz's girlfriend, Emisa. So Diago goes to save her from the Anguis. And surprise! Emisa stabs Viz in an attempt to win the Battle Royale. Now, we're going to unpack that a little bit because that's not clear at all. There's information with her face and whether she's looking. It doesn't look like she's in control or that she doesn't want to do it. Whatever it is, Viz falls to his death, except he survives. He tracks down Calidus, finds him dying. The Anguis got to him and basically tortured him. Calidus doesn't make it. Why keep him alive if he's just going to die? Personally, whatever. What final moment did you get? Not sure. Oh, it's frozen again. It's not saying that I have any issues in the stream. It's not saying it's dropping frames. So I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, he has the heart. I don't know what that was all about. He wins the Battle Royale. The twist ending, though, the empty room isn't actually empty. It was really a cloning chamber, and a copy of him appears in a distant land. It's actually multiple lands. He finds Cairo, who is Elkiskor's brother. Lots of questions to unpack. Now, what's really important to learn, let me scroll down, is that there are 3 worlds When I first read this, I thought there were 2. It turns out that there are 3 worlds. We have world number 1, where the story takes place. That world is called Res. And this version of events is where Viz runs through the labyrinth. He speaks to Viridius. He joins the Senate, or the government with the census, that side of it. That is world 1. World 2 is, now, how do you say this word? Lucium? Is it a soft C or a harder C? Lucium? Lucium. And this is where Viz runs the labyrinth, sacrificed his arm to continue the transfer, the journey. So he ain't got no arm, but he's in Lucium. World number 3. He splits into this world, Obedium, where he meets with Cairo, who is Ulkiska's brother, and he's the one who sent the message, wait and on his arm to escape so that he could stay. So usually this indicates that when you go and get transported, it does take a sacrifice, and in Viz's instance, it was his arm. But once you go into these other lands, that the body that you have in that world doesn't make it because of whatever sacrifice that is. But he's able to navigate out of it because other world him is telling him to run and to wait, all those things. What is important about these names? Res in Latin language means reality. Lucium is light, and obitium is dark. So what this could mean is that the 3 realms, worlds, realities, one is actual reality, the other one is light or life, and the other one could be death. If obitium is indeed the world of death, that could explain why Diago's dad could visit with him at the end of the book. Now, those 3 endings kind of take place simultaneously. Darian, your hand is up, and Vaden, I saw your hand up too. Hit me with the questions and thoughts.
Oh, my hand wasn't up.
Oh, it wasn't? Vaden, you had something you wanted to say earlier?
Yeah, it was just about like the I was thinking about the ending, about what they're so I actually can't remember. I'll
Okay.
go back to.
Yep, interrupt me when it comes back. Oh yeah, my views just went down to like 30. What's happening on YouTube? What's going on? Is it time to say fuck Spectrum?
At the ending,
Is it time to say fuck Spectrum? Yeah, there's only 29 viewers. That's wild. I don't know why. We had 110 and then it just cocked out. Good times. Good times. All right. So going back through some of the other questions here, knowing that anyone who's in this reality could also be in 2 other freaking worlds because there's cloning. Who saw cloning coming? Was there any evidence of cloning at all, Vaden?
Yeah, actually, there was a little bit, and this is why I think it might be related to that. Near the beginning, almost very beginning, when he gets caught by the students, they take his blood.
Yes.
You know, that maybe it's very suspicious. I thought, okay, they're taking his blood to do something with it, and I thought maybe it has to do with cloning or something like that. And yeah, that was the first clue, was the biggest clue for me initially.
So now that we sort of have the ending as well with what the labyrinth does, why were people's eyes removed? Why did they introduce that? Why did they introduce it with Lannistia, where her eyes were removed? She knows something about the labyrinth maybe? What happened to the eyeless people and why was that so important? Was everyone's sacrifice when they got teleported or transferred their eyes? Could it be any body part? What is that? Why did you set something up for so long for us to not have it explained right at the end when that aha moment was not an aha moment at all? I was like, what the heck just happened? What was this? Because there wasn't a trickling, I don't think enough evidence leading up to this. It doesn't explain a lot of other things. Fucking Viz isn't having deja vu all the time. You know what I mean? Like all we knew was that there was a labyrinth and that someone disappeared or died or people were dying during the final challenge. Was Islington just throwing shit at a wall and seeing what stuck, says Tim. I do think that there is more to it. But that for me was like, hey, that's a really cool concept. I did not see that coming at all. A cloning room? Like what would that, why? And in this world building, it hasn't, for me, provided any reasoning for this to even exist. But now that it does, I'm like, okay, then do we look back at other things? Does this explain Emissa wanting to kill Viz, thinking that maybe he's been infected, that he was already going to die? Maybe she had witnessed, I don't know, mottled blood. She was there when, you know, the blood sample was taken the first time. Did she know that there was something wrong? Was she overtaken by someone? Was she, who knows? Why did she do this? What do we know about that particular part? There was reluctance. It looked like it wasn't really her. Who knows? Like, that again was very, very confusing. Phantom Aria says, I felt like the epilogue came out of nowhere. I might feel more favorable depending on where he takes it in the next book. It was just a lot of, what is happening? What are we doing? When? Why? It's not a cloning room. It's a transporter. But it's a clone of that person.
It's the transported man chamber from The Prestige, if you've ever seen that movie.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Where it just makes it's a photocopy of their...
Yeah.
They literally said, you're a copy in the epilogue.
Who said you're a copy?
Al Kisco's brother told this,
right.
you're a copy, essentially.
Jeff, can I have one of those, please? Thanks. I need one. Were the bodies in the room after the labyrinth supposed to kill Viz? Is that what happens when someone duplicates themselves? The version in Res is supposed to die. I thought the eyes were supposed to be... What did he mean when he said that Viz is kin? Oh, wait, that's a whole other thing as well. Why did Cairo say Viz's Res version if he's got a copy in Obitium and Lucium now? Why did he need to save the Res version? What's the benefit? Yes, academic, you're flailing. And then Darian, move to you.
This is more that implication stuff that Jeff hates. But my thought is that this is also why Viridius really wanted a student to successfully make it through the labyrinth. The whole point is that we needed someone to be able to work on the problem from each of those three realities to stop the rending or the cataclysm. And so
that makes sense. Why wasn't this studied a little bit more, though? Why does it have to be so secretive that there are three realities, three realms, three whatevers? I really like the concept that one's reality, one is light, one is dark. Does it mean that the whole passage of time is different? It feels like heaven, hell, and earth, really, doesn't it? Like, it's kind of got that vibe happening. I love implications when they are justified and play out at some point, says Jeff. I would have loved a lot more clarity, explanation, puzzle pieces. And I'm going to say that 10 more times by the time we're done with this, because I'm just here scratching my goddamn head. Academic.
I will say I probably am giving a lot more leniency than y'all, because I have read James Islington's other book, and he did something similar. The prose was much worse in that book. You can see he's gotten a lot better, but it is following a very similar pattern of laying out lots of breadcrumbs that become unveiled, and they all come together by the end of the last book. And you're like, okay, now I'm able to piece things together. So I know, Tim, you hate that.
But the problem here is that they're not breadcrumbs because I don't want to eat them. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
They're not sating me at all. They're not going, nom, nom, more please. That was delicious. That fills my tummy up. I would like more of that. It is a stone. It is a pebble. It is not a breadcrumb. That sounds really dire, doesn't it? Didn't Darker Shade of Magic have light and dark realities? Yes, it was London. It was different folds of London. The black, the red, the white, like a newspaper. So it definitely had something like that as well. And there were changes in the reality where either like magic wasn't as prevalent, or there was like a key missing thing, or like there was I don't know. It was like I don't mind talking about multiverses, and I love each multiverse like having its own essence and purpose as well. I just think all of this needs just so much purpose than what we have. Why do the Anguis want a ship from military? What do you think they're making? What do you think they mean about making it an anchor point? I'm just going to go through some of these Reddit questions that I found because I copied them, not understanding it. When did that happen? I don't know. Yes, Darian.
I'm just gonna add, as you mentioned, the Anguis. The Anguis know something about the labyrinth to some degree as well, because when Viz had his boss fight with the Anguis guy, he saw Viz's arm and he mentioned it always takes something, be prepared to lose that arm. So he knows something is up.
And he called him kin. He called him kin, and he kind of insinuated he knew a lot more about who he was. So I'm wondering, I mean, he hasn't, I don't know. If he'd already existed in another reality?
Go into Ludicium and Obitium, like, they know something. They know something about this travel or copying or whatever.
So maybe in, thank you, in Lucium, whatever, words, do you think the hierarchy even exists, or is the royal family still reigning? Is he still a prince? Is he still in Sus doing his princely duties? Is he higher up? Is he more powerful? Is this reality his bleak reality, but in another multiverse? And then when we talk about multiverses, I always get a little loopy because it's like, where am I standing with other Maudes in other multiverses? Am I doing better or worse? Jeff?
Okay, as far as the breadcrumbs and implications and all that stuff, I love that stuff too. And here is where I think this book falls down. Breadcrumbs need to lead to other breadcrumbs that need to lead to other breadcrumbs that need to lead to other breadcrumbs. I'm going to drop a breadcrumb and then you're going to get a whole loaf of bread at the end. And I think this book does not do a good job of putting a clear path out. They throw a breadcrumb over here, and then there's one way over there, and then there's one over there. And maybe that's a line, but I have no idea that it is.
Tim kind of said this in the chat. If you can't tie up the smaller loose ends into a greater story arc, what's the point? That's essentially saying the same thing.
Yeah, I was just trying to say, like, because Academic was talking about how it all ties in at the end of the third book or whatever.
It doesn't.
Like, and I'm fine with that. Like, it doesn't bother me when something takes 3 books to tell a story, right? I loved Red Rising. We're 6 and almost 7 books into that story arc, right? I enjoyed the Golden Sun, or not Golden Sun, but that other trilogy we read, and that took 3 books. But the point I'm trying to make is, at the end of book 1, I wanted to read book 2 to figure out what's next in the story. I wasn't left with questions on what I just read. And if I finish a book and I still don't know what it is I just read, then I feel like that book didn't fulfill its purpose.
That's it. Jay Bunt brings up a really great point. Then why didn't Ketchner like Sanderson? It's a scenic route with Sanderson. He does get there, and he does tie it all together really well.
But Sanderson takes 6 books in the span of 1 binding.
Yes.
Nobody got time for that.
Actually, the number one saying is journey before destination, so you're there for the journey. It is a long one. Your eyes are on the destination, my son, but it's all about the journey.
I don't hate unresolved endings. I don't think that's a bad thing in my experience. And I'm not. That's not what you're saying. You're saying you don't mind resolved ending. You hate that there was no resolution throughout the whole piece. That's what you're trying to say, right? No, Jeff's not. Jeff's shaking his head.
No, it's not about. I don't want resolutions. I want
information.
Like, I want connection. Yeah, I don't need resolution. I need connection. I need a reason to believe that this connects to that. I don't. It's not about a resolution. I don't. Ambiguity. I love it. It's the spice of life. But when there is no connection, it's like reading a mystery book when they don't give you any possibility of solving the mystery. And then at the end, it turns out it's Old Man Smithers. And it's like, you should have known that from the beginning, except that there was absolutely, go back and read it again, and there's still no way that you would ever connect that.
A red herring would have been nice here, having some sorts of red herring to just go like,
Sure.
Well, it could be that. It could be. We're here, we don't even have the information to think or know what it or who it could be. I will give you an example of a really good aha reveal that we got in this book, and that was Sadosha being Relucia. Is that her name? That Reliquia. Sadosha being Reliquia. That as a reveal, I thought was really well done. Sadosha was introduced to us, stalking him in his fighting pits, not really sure what her story is about, realizing she's from the Anguis, trying to get him on her side, having that secret meeting, and then realizing she's in this terrorist organization and being like, oh, okay, I thought I could maybe trust her. Turns out that she's a bit of a bad person in a bad way. And then this whole, my dad is now Olkiskor, his wife's away all the time. That is a breadcrumb, right? There is space and room for that puzzle piece to go and fit in nicely. So when we first see in the second half of the book, Reliquia, and it is Sadosha, that for me was that's cool. That's aha, you got me. I really like this. Let's see where this goes. Does Olkiska know that she's a part of the exactly? And it's well, how does that affect things? Because you've now brought his point, which is Olkiska's prerogative, destination, whatever. That's the whole thing. Is Viz's identity is through Olkiska's goal, and then the person that he's trying to avoid and that he doesn't side with, that he's had interactions with separately, who knows his real identity, has now become a main key player in this game. I thought that was really well done. I would love more things like this where it makes sense. There's more information. I have the pieces, and I'm I can't wait to see how this unfolds. A lot of this information, and it's Blue Shell said it best. Yeah, I'm a little lost at the end, and I don't think I caught all of the breadcrumbs. Darren said me neither. Jeff said me neither, and I'm here to say me neither. And if that's three of us reading the same book, not getting it, that's not us. I don't think at this point it's not us. We didn't miss it. It's not.
I just want to add, it's not really breadcrumbs you're getting in this book. It's more I'm just gonna give you hints at these things, constantly saying, I'm hinting this, and I'm gonna give it to you in the next book. It's never progression in this book. It's just oh, that's something interesting, wait for the next book, hopefully to get something. And you have no promise, even for the second book, maybe you'll be in the third book, as Tim was saying. It's just he's selling you a promise of something, not necessarily a progression of clues.
It's just here's a bunch of things, you don't know how they're connected. Maybe you could figure it out, but more on that next time. Colleen makes a really great point as well with the whole, yeah, sure, the Reliquia was a great reveal, but then it wasn't as important as we thought. We don't actually know where she fits in. So she became a crucial key player and then didn't. So that's a really interesting part as well. Vanessa says, look, I agree. The end felt random. Jeff says the epilogue, that is so left field. This is the thing. The ending was not made up of any breadcrumbs. The ending was made up of an entire curveball, which I think was exciting. It would be cooler for it to be wow, I didn't see how the pieces fit together, but all of this has now completed the puzzle. We still don't even have we have a puzzle because we're all clueless. The puzzle is what's happening? What is going on?
We have all of the breadcrumbs that this has, though, right? Where we are understanding the world through Vis's eyes. So, maybe if we have a different way of telling the story, if it's not first person, if not first point of view, then there are more. But that's not what we are able to do with this format of storytelling. We only know what Vis knows. It's not like there's special information that Vis has that we don't.
Yeah. Yeah, but Viz is also supposed to be unrealistically brilliant. So even if we're missing the pieces, Viz should be guiding us there, and Viz should actually be helping us put these pieces together almost for us. Don't you think?
No way. Right. I feel like that was what he was already like. I feel like if this is as much as he's able to put together with the information that he has, then there's like, and he's
Then
already
that's
like,
not a
oh,
good
he's too crazy.
story. That's not a good
Really?
story. Yeah.
Or he just doesn't have enough information.
If we're at the end of a 610 page book and it's not that we don't have all the information, we don't really have any of the information, especially with that last part. Yes.
I think we have tons of information. It's just not connected to any other information.
And I would classify information as plot, substance, what the point is, right? So you're right, though. There is information. There has been characters. There has been subplots. There has been other things, but like it's not conducive to the plot. But academic, that's why you gave it a 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want you to keep arguing this, though, because the fact that you love that's important. And I need to learn how to like this book. KP.
I have not read the whole book, obviously, but I feel like what a lot of people are saying is that it's not so much that the questions weren't answered, but the right questions weren't even asked yet.
Bingo. Yeah. Well said. What do we think? Okay, so the whole story has been Olkiska's goal. Him having moments of sort of not being stable and putting more and more pressure on Viz. What do we think is going to happen with Olkiskor? Because like I feel like it's become so beyond Olkiska's goal. He just wanted to know that his brother's alive. Vin was disposable for him to get answers. So there you go. Let's look at some of the answers that we have. Vin now knows. Well, actually, this res version doesn't know that Caesar, Casecor, guess his name. Donor, Borodor, Gore, Snore. Yeah, the names, guys. The names are good. Searoar. Kyror. I think I was even saying Kyror at some stage. Oh. But he can't even come back to say that he's seen him, because that's a different Viz in a different world, in a different reality. So they can't exchange that information. Maybe they can. I don't fucking know. What's the boat at the end? Where'd the boat come from? Why is the boat there? It's obviously his kid's childhood toy. What was the messaging with that? Where was the threat? What's the threat? What's it mean?
Well, the threat is somebody knows who he is. It's just who knows his secret. But
well, Ruku Dulia does. Stepmom. Did he think she was hot at any stage? Stepmom.
It was not just that it was his boat, but that boat was in that secret chamber that what was his name? I keep wanting to say Frederica.
I think it is. I think it could be.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it was exactly that. He described it the same way. So how did it get from there to there? I mean,
also, Ido, I don't know. Come on, the number one dude, Iden, not Iden, Edon.
Idol.
Ido, Idol, Iro.
I'm looking for mine.
What?
Which person? You mean Indol or you mean
Indol? Indol was the one who kind of figured it out on Sus. Indol was the one who's like, hey bro, you navigate the cliff sides way too conveniently. Hey bro, I can't stop studying you because I got the hots for you. P.S. Who else got that Indol was gay? That was his secret. Who got that? Darren, Darren got one. You're on the board, Darren. We should have done a spreadsheet of who got the thing. I'm only on one.
That wasn't his big secret that he was knowing, but that's the vibe that I got from him.
I thought it was his secret.
His big secret was that
he was going to religion.
He was going to religion, and
right.
That's the secret that Vis knew. That he's like, hey, I know about that. But then we also got that crumb about Missa told Vis, but Indol didn't tell Missa.
Right. So she's duplicitous.
So we don't know how she knows yet.
How many people actually survived? So, like, did Indol even survive the Eutychium? Because we know Viz and Nissa for certain. Who else?
Indol.
He survived.
He has the potential to be pretty impressive. I want to learn more about him as a character. I would like it if he has a crush on Viz. That would make sense. But that was,
he didn't die?
I don't think he died. Did he die?
Because
no, he's still alive.
I know Viz and Nissa who survived. I really don't know who else lived or died.
So that's what's really interesting as well, because Indol was there and he was positioned to potentially win, and Viz is like, hey bro, this is like not what you thought it was. Like, we're all getting attacked, the Anguists are in here, they're killing us all one by one. Here is a hand. Is that what he shows? Like, here's that someone's hand. Yeah. Like, and there was a piece there where Indol should have been a little bit more, I think, conspicuous about the entire thing, but instead he was just like, I believe you, Viz. So there's like an earned respect sort of thing that's happening there. His name kept sounding like the Irish word for Italy. What's the Irish word for Italy? Indol? Indol.
Okay, what's that? It's something like Idol.
Indol.
Yeah,
Lindol.
Yeah,
that's my mum's name.
It sounded almost the same to me.
Indol, Iroh, and Equa and Emissa all survived. What's Emissa's deal? I do think she likes him. But she tried to kill him straight up. And he's like, oh yeah, I thought we were good, but she absolutely tried to kill me. Was it just to win? Was it to...
No, she knows. She only did that when she saw like his hand as well. And Viridius even like gave an excuse for her saying like she thought you were tainted. She thought she was doing him a favor essentially. Like, so she has some amount of knowledge as well that Viz doesn't have. So
has she been attacked before? Has she seen someone get attacked? How does she know that it's beginning of the end with that? Ooh, Cheyenne says Emissa is a reminder that she's a part of the society that he supposedly hates. Open your eyes, Viz. But she's really pretty, Cheyenne. Do you think she can actually swim? Whole thing to be rescued was a ruse. Got him. Something's going on there. I did see the betrayal a mile away, though. I was like, wait. There were zombies? Yeah, but like, what were they? What was it? What's happening? Yeah, how did she know about Indol's defection without him telling her? What did she say sorry for when Viz saved her from drowning? When she tried to kill him, she obviously saw something in his blood and also said something about how she needs to win. Also, did she seed Will? Yeah, her eyes were black. She was seeding Will. That's cheating. No? She's most likely a spy or is working with Viridius, but it's interesting as to why, especially given her family is military and Viridius is, of course, religion. Also, why did the heart of Joven fly into Viz's hand when he fell? What the fuck was that about? Also, when was there a heart? When was there a heart? I thought it was a medallion, and now some guy's heart is magnetizing to his hair. Do you think that when he got cloned, that's when he got the powers? So now Viz on Rez can sense human life? Now there's magic powers. Now dude's magical. Last 30 pages is whack, guys. Viz is magic. He got magic. The medallion goes on the heart of the statue of Joven / Jupiter. Joven. Viz got that Riz. So Viz has magical powers. He can sense people, and apparently one of the other Anguis, the scarred guy who was there earlier, he can do the same thing, no? He's been cloned? Is that how he got his scar? Do you want to know how I got these scars? If I can't even get you with the Batman reference, guys, what good am I right now?
Joker. Yep.
Thank you. I think he can sense people using will. Ah.
Because he knew when he was trying to infiltrate to the tower to get to the heart, he could feel where all of the Anguis were, and they were all using will. So he kind of had like that video game Metal Gear Solid power where he could sense where everyone was, and that allowed him to sneak in by everybody.
So that's going to be Res Viz has the power. Do we think that the other Vizes are going to have that power as well? And all Vizes have one arm. All Viz have one arm?
It's another I don't think we know yet. We don't know if the Dark World Viz has more than just carved up arm with words on it.
Oh.
The dark one was the one where he won't wait and started to run. But then the light world Viz lost the arm entirely, and then that bled into real world is.
So the bite and the sacrifice of the arm are two very separate events, but both resulted in the same thing.
Yeah, I thought it was the sacrifice of the arm, which was what was causing his arm to atrophy, not the bite.
Then why fucking have the bite? You know what I mean?
He just got bitten by a dude, and that just looked gross.
Is it possible that it's not the real Amissa? Like it's another world's Amissa?
I don't know. Anything's possible at this stage. Anything is possible. Belly had seeded. Okay. Diago the dog is really a Viz from another dimension. I am running with that idea. Like a Patronus from Harry Potter, and the one he saw in Prisoner of Azkaban, he turned into his Patronus. Diago is another world reality version. Sure, add it to it. Because I mean, like, anything's possible. There's so much fuckery to be had here. Any other questions? Oh, I got so many. Where did I throw my... I did. I flung my mouse. I got so into it. Okay, we've gotten through that. Did the zombie bite unlock the power detection, or is it him getting copied? Is Viridius a villain? We got through that one as well. Did Calidus get tortured because the Anguiths thought he was Viz since he was carrying his medallion? Why did Calidus have to die? Like, what was that whole thing about? That was a weird ending.
6.
6?
6.
What is this word you're saying? 6? Steaks? Steaks.
Six.
I guess you could say that. Like, I mean, he was the guy who was too good for the world, so he has to die. That's kind of the
No,
way
he
it goes.
doesn't. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you.
I feel like,
but he didn't have
like
to die. He didn't have
I mean,
to die.
I feel like plot wise, they always do that. Every single time, there's always a character that's always like a person we all love, and it's like, oh, he's a great character, we love him, love the person, they're lovely, and they're always gonna die. Like in so many of these films.
That's dumb.
He was a guy I felt like, but.
Crucible, thank you for resubscribing using Prime for 19 months. And Locken75, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome. It's Maude's Book Club. We're talking about The Will of the Many. We're going full spoilers. So any theories, thoughts, you name it, let's go. Oh, we got our viewers back again. Yay! Okay, I've got other... Viridius pleads Viz to join religion. Wants his help to stop the next cataclysm event. Who saw the fact that Viz instead joined governance so he could work at the census? What do you think that's going to be about? I did not see that come. And again, him saying that wasn't a brilliant because of A, B, C, and D that we've been hearing about. That's so good. He said that and I was like, why?
Yeah, the only connection I saw with that was just that, like, because we know Cal's father is a good guy, and so he wants to go meet him and eventually, figure out some situation. Because they talked about how, since this early on, how like lost people are in those higher quadrants or higher parts of the pyramid than they should be. Like there should be a certain amount of people per quadrant of like the sexist and all that stuff, but there's a lot less in the bottom or top than there should be. So I don't know if that's anything to do with the census or something else, but like it calculated the math and showed him.
Numbers will save the day. It puts him in Catan, the capital, and it's also where Reliquia works. She works for the censor, aka Calidus's dad. Oh. Okay. See, I'm just not as stoked. That's not a revelation. It's just like, okay, and okay. What else have we got? Yeah, so that for me, I wish was an aha moment where I'm like, oh, Viz, you smart son of a gun, working in the census is brilliant. I was like, if you say so. Did we get through all the other questions in here? Who is the man with the scar in the final test? Is he just another clone dude? He knows more than he's letting on.
Which guy with the scar we're talking about?
He's like the one who says that we're kin, and it was recognized that he was at the big Independence Day explosion at the stadium.
Yeah, he was the Angus boss fight. That's all I know. He's the boss battle.
Boss battle. Where the hold on. Yeah, so Viz lost his arm in res after the bite from the zombie thingies. Also gained powers, likely as a result of being copied. He also lost his arm in Lucium as a sacrifice. What about in Obitium? Does he have both limbs? Are the events of one realm reflected in the other? So, okay, so Res Viz had his arm amputated from the bite because it went rotten. Lucium, yeah, necrotic damage. Crit 20 on necrotic damage. See, this makes sense. That makes sense to me. What is that? What's it called? Obitium? These words are going to be the death of me. I listened to the book as well. This guy is fluently saying all of these names. You'd think that they would stick because I'm hearing it over and over again. Nothing is. I'm buffering again. Boo. Yeah, I see it. I see it. Oh, hi, Steph. Steph on YouTube. Sean was in there as well. I have not forgotten you. Hopefully it gets a little bit better. Oh, yeah, it's rendering. It's rendering. It's back. It's back. Does anyone have answers for me? What are going to be the 3 distinguishing features of Viz in every one of these realms? Who would like to go? No arm, same arm. Third Viz, what? Why 3 copies? Why no mention of 3 realms? Who wants to keep reading the series? Academic Vaden. I think me, but I want to read it. J Bunt Rock, you've been very quiet. What did you like about the book? You gave it a 2. Or 2.5.
I think I like how he ends every chapter with one sentence that leads into the next chapter. I like that.
Hey. Okay. Okay.
Other than that, I just found it kind of boring.
What is the best part about this book, do we think? Is it the world building? Is it character development? Is it the writing style? What is the strength?
The art on the cover.
Okay.
I think it's the characters. I think the characters have pretty good relationships with each other, and they're it's a lot a lot of ambiguity in who they trust and who they don't trust and why. And then now that we know there's multiple clones of them, that throws a whole other wrench into it. But like, I feel like the relationships are pretty strong.
Book 1 is more like a TV pilot than an entire season 1. I have a bit of a problem. I think a book should be a season, no? Or at least the first 4 episodes. If they can make 4 episodes out of Murderbot novella, they made 4 episodes from a novella. This book, 610 pages, 604 pages, that's a season, an entire season of show, especially when seasons these days are between 6 and 9 episodes. This is 600 pages should not be a pilot. Do you think talking about it with the club has made the book better or worse?
Way worse, in my opinion. I'm so glad I didn't finish this book now.
KP Dubs and Lisa, you haven't finished and completed the book. Has this conversation been helpful for you to hopefully have the pieces together to help with the remainder of the book?
It made me realize I maybe want to wait until the whole trilogy's out before I read it.
I know that you like a full story. Yeah.
Yeah.
KP, you said it has made it better or worse for you. Both.
Saying yes. You asked if it made it better or worse. I said yes. I don't know. I bought it. It's sitting on my shelf. Eventually I'll read it. I just don't know.
See, it's really interesting hearing Stephen devour it. Academic gave it a solid 5. I would have thought with the comparisons to Red Rising and everyone saying this was must read, especially if you dug the Red Rising series. We as this club adored the Red Rising series. No, we didn't. Tim?
No, it's like Red Rising, but it's like somebody who is right-handed wrote Red Rising with their left hand. It's a mess. You can see all the Red Rising elements, but none of them connect to a greater story.
Mm-hmm. Red Rising is more action-packed to me, said Jay Buntrock. I really liked the pacing of the book. I actually really liked the pacing. I just wish that when we had those moments to play catch up and to actually like have things come to fruition and like have that time and hit the beats, that information was more crucial and pertinent to the plot. I think information for the sake of information going this long, I think that's hurt it for me a little bit. I had to watch 3 separate videos explaining the ending to me. And one of them was this gorgeous girl who actually had a whiteboard and she would draw and write out what it was. And I was like, she even drew a labyrinth. And I was like, that's very helpful for visual learners. But like, yes, academic.
I just want to say that everybody who's reviewing this book, at least a couple of years ago, they didn't have any extra information. So it's clearly that breadcrumbs existed. You just have to dig for them, right? If you're able to piece it together.
I don't dig. Look,
that's fair.
I have manicure. I don't dig. I hungry. Feed me breadcrumbs. Feed me. I'm reader. I don't dig.
And I
don't know who she is either. She's precious. Who is she? That's my true self coming through. No, I don't dig.
And I understand. Like there are a lot of unanswered questions. There are a lot of unresolved things. There are things that don't seem like they connect, but they are mentioned in the book. Like but it does take time to go back and list. Like for instance, like Viridius said, it was specifically stated that Viridius is looking for people who hadn't seeded, right? And that's why Alkeyscore picked this to actually go there. He said it's something along the lines of he had been picking non-seeders to go to the academy, and so like we know what that we can make that connection, but it's a throwaway line as this is going on the transfect, and then it doesn't really matter until much later, and then you realize, okay, Viridius actually cares about the students that he's picking, and it's for some greater good, not just to kill them off or whatever. All right.
Maybe. The greater God. No. God. Darian?
No, Maude, I'll just wanted to say there's another book series where they do the foreshadow and the breadcrumb drop in very well. And you actually want to go back and you see it all the time when you do the rereads. I'll give you one guess what I'm thinking of.
Well, I would say Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive.
I would say Name of the Wind.
we need to do a reread. Lisa's like,
I
no,
have-
they've not finished it.
Wise Man downloaded on my phone or when you're ready. Yeah.
Honestly, though, it's been. When did I make everyone read Name of the Wind for? Was that for Maud's Book Club, or was that Geek Bomb Book Club, or was that Nerdist's Book Club?
Geek Bomb.
It was? It was Geek Bomb.
It was before my
I thought it was
time.
Nerdist. It was Nerdist.
Was it
'cause I remember.
Nerdist?
Yeah, I think it was Nerdist.
Well, I got Hector to read it. It's Hector's birthday today, by the way, everyone. Jason is good. Thank you for the follow just now. That is that's the conclusion. Yeah, I like Name of the Wind. That is the conclusion of Will of the Many, September's main book pick for Maud's Book Club. October, November, December, all locked. You can check out pictures of it all on social medias or follow us on the Discord. Join. It's a fun community. Lots of people. We do cool things. If you're a member, you unlock the best channels in there. I'm biased because I'm in there. We even do New York Times games. What did I get it today? What did I get it in? Did I get it in 3? I got it in 3! And if you're a member, you can watch me brag in that channel relentlessly. So October's book picks. Our main book is going to be Prey by Michael Crichton. I am actually going in it as blind as possible for that one. I did see a bit of a blurb, but I don't want to know too much about it. Michael Crichton is the author of insanely successful book Jurassic Park, which I loved reading. The movie was a little bit different, but it was such a fun time. We also are going to be doing a bonus book, and I believe we're going to be doing the bonus book first. October kicks off with 2, not 1, but 2 author Q&As. The first one's going to be with Veronica Roth. I don't know if anyone else went through the Divergent phase about 12, 15, how many years ago was that one? 15 years ago or so?
I definitely did.
Yeah, I consumed all the Divergent series. They got made into studio movies. She's still writing books. I'm getting everyone to read her duology, When Among Crows, and To Clutch a Razor. The way that I've been describing it is kind of like a younger modern day Witcher. And I say it kind of meets Dresden because it's set in Chicago, and there's really cool, the reason why it's The Witcher is because there's really cool Polish myth and folklore in there. So all the big baddies that you've seen in The Witcher, they take place in modern day Chicago, but it's really cool. I'm really enjoying it, and they're so quick. The first book's 160 pages, so you can easily flit through those. 2011 was the first Divergent book, published 14 years ago. Thank you, guys. And then what's really exciting is the next night after that, we'll be chatting with James Islington or Islington. I've got to get to the bottom of that. If you're a member, you can send questions directly through a doc that I will read out to those authors and get your questions answered. That is a member perk. So sign on up to patreon.com/Maud's Book Club. The links to those docs are not only in the Discord in the members section, but it's also been posted on Patreon. So you'll get access to that immediately. That'll be a lot of fun. A reminder that this stream is sponsored by A Booksy Moment, short stories and flash fiction. The book truly has something for everyone. It is a collection of short stories and flash fiction that covers everything from heartfelt moments to thrilling mysteries and historical dramas. Get ready to experience your own Booksy Moment and explore stories that will stick with you long after you've finished. To get a copy of A Booksy Moment, just head over to the Barnes & Noble website right now or click the link. It's that bit.ly link in the chat right now. KBW says short stories are fun. I wish that each story counted as an entire book towards our book goals, because I'm getting there slowly. I do love short stories. There's a collection of different short stories that I've indulged in, and I can list them out if people are looking for more short stories as well. But check out A Booksy Moment. It's in Barnes & Noble. If you go into the store, you can click the link to buy it also. And we can do another writing prompt as well in the Discord, because we haven't done a writing prompt in a little bit, and it could be fun to do one for Halloween. Maybe a little bit of a spooky, horror-esque type short story could be fun for this one. So there you have it. So, October's books are happening. We've already got the dates locked in. Head to the schedule in the Discord or check out social medias for those posts. They could change, we don't know. Tomorrow I'll be streaming from 3 until 5-ish. So join me for Star Trek Command Fleet, which will be exciting. We're sponsored. Yay, we got a busy week It's good. And then on Saturday, we're doing Game On. It will be the next Dungeon Crawler Carl tabletop RPG. Vaden, you're going to be GMing this one. Can you give us a hint?
Yeah. Just have
No,
a theme song.
KP, have a theme song? What? Have a theme song?
You would do a music-based campaign when I, the music nerd, cannot be there.
That's my fault. I mean, what can I do?
I believe we're doing that. Is that from 3:30 to 6 or 2:30 to 5? Did we lock that in yet?
I think it was 3:30 to 6. I don't know.
3:30 to 6? 3:30 to 6.
Don't worry too much,
2:30 to
Kat.
5?
Not necessarily what you think.
I'm going to have to get my character sheet up to date with all of that as well, because we've got new items, new abilities, I feel like. What is my character's name? She's a phoenix. I can't even remember her freaking name. Emberlyn. Oh, Emberlyn. Of course, it's Emberlyn. We love Emberlyn. And Helda.
Yes, Helda.
Oh, Helda and her naked haircut right now. Poor thing. All right, let's go raid into someone else. Thank you so much for a fantastic stream. Sorry that it kept spacing out a little bit. It says 3:30 to 6. Oh, cool. Well, cool. Good. There you go. What is that? What do we want to stream into? What do we want to do? Melanie SP has one person. So we're going to make Melanie SP's day.
Is she even online?
Oh gosh, I hope so.
She's not online.
She's not?
She doesn't show as online. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh no, she is. She must have just started then.
She just started. Oh no,
I was wrong. I'll be wrong once in a
no,
while. Okay.
I love the fact that because every single time someone's like, "Thanks for joining, bye," and I'll raid. so I'd prefer it this way. So go drop some books in her chat. Say hi to Melanie, and everyone else have an amazing weekend. I'll see you tomorrow.